So last week, you might have seen me talking about my first day at Disney, where I was learning to drive a truck at the Kilimanjaro Safari ride, and then I was given a lunch break. And I went back to talk to all the experienced safari drivers, and they started sharing their best stories about working for KSR. Last week, I shared one of the stories they told me, which was of a giraffe getting punched in the face. And this week, I was gonna talk about an escaped cheetah, or a sable antelope stabbing a giraffe with its horns and nearly killing it, or a sable antelope chasing a researcher, a poor sad researcher, up a tree and threatening his life. But after I posted my last video, some of my KSR friends who had also worked as safari drivers there suggested I share the story of the infamous fish hat lady. Imagine a lady with like a red Make America Great hat again, like red baseball cap, no Make America Great, because she took the singing trout off the wall, cut it in half, and glued it to both sides of her hat, and that's literally what her hat is. Before we can get talking about Fish Hat Lady, whose actual name no one knows, by the way, before we can actually start talking about her, I kind of need to explain what a typical day working at KSR looks like. You wake up at 7 a.m., go in, get your vehicle at 8 a.m., do some opening duties, and try and get to the track around 8:30. Park opens at 9. So, during the same time, AP, that's Animal Protection, is sort of releasing the animals from their overnight habitats into their daytime habitats where people can see them. But they aren't releasing them all at once, you know, they might still be eating breakfast, or they might need to clean up any of the variable feces or other bodily fluids that you might find in the hippopotamus's territory. For example, hippos are gross. In fact, one time I was driving by the hippos, and there were always these vultures that liked hanging out around the hippos, and I always made jokes. I wonder what might be happening here. I wonder what they might be looking for. Oh, look, it's the crocodiles. They must be waiting for some meat. However, again, they're vegetarians. They eat leaves. I'm not sure what those vultures are hoping to get over there. Oh, there we go. Off to our left are Nile crocodiles. Well, this one time I was making that joke. Drive by the hippos. I go, oh, I wonder what those vultures are waiting for. And the hippo has the most disgusting bowel movements ever. Imagine a propeller, except the propeller is a tail, and then it whips around, and the crap literally hits the fan, and it goes everywhere. So I'm driving by, I'm saying, oh, I'm wondering what these vultures are waiting for. They must be waiting for something to eat. I wonder if there's any. No, we don't get to the crocodiles. Hippo goes crazy, vultures go crazy, they go after the fruit, and then they eat the poo-poo. But anyways, not all the animals are out on show yet. And this is the same thing that happens later on in the day. Around 5 p.m., the animals are starting to either be taken back into their nighttime habitats, or they're staring at their door, which is cleverly hidden. The animals just look like they're staring at a rock or something. They're staring at their door, waiting to be released so they can eat their stinking dinner. And maybe this is just me, but I don't think any animal deserves their dinner any more than the lion does. Because this poor lion, king of the jungle, and queens of the jungle, there's actually two females, one male. They sit on top of the rocks. And the way it works, there's this big rock up here, and then some more rocks over here, and in the middle there's a dip. So this way, the lions can't go and roam free amongst the addax, or the zebra, or God forbid, the guests. And the guests are reasonably fooled, but I don't think the addax or the zebras are at all. In fact, I think they are very cruel bullies, because you've got King of the Jungle sitting up on top of this rock, bored out of its mind. It hasn't mauled anything for most of its life. It really needs to do something. And I think the zebras and the addax know this. So they choose to pick right next to the side of this dip, and they like to go over, turn around. They like to show off their juicy flank to the lions, sort of like a girl at the club in the booty shorts. And you can go around on 3 20-minute trips. So for a full hour, you can see this lion just sitting there, 2 or 3 of them just staring intently at the zebra who's, oh, who, me? You want to eat me? Does this look good to you? So between 9 to 5, these lions, like, their job is literally to lay out and watch meat show itself off in front of them, but they can't kill it. They're just staring at their doors, waiting for the chance to get something to eat. Finally, they're waiting on their kids' meals, they're waiting on their dead zebra leftovers. They're waiting for a guest to sort of Simba their child outside of the vehicle so that the child can see better, and then, you know, Mufasa him into their grasps. By the time 5 o'clock rolls around, they're staring at the door intently. They are ready to go. So, what does all this have to do with Fish Hat Lady? Well, Fish Hat Lady shows up at 5 p.m. The animals are going in, they want to eat. As a safari driver, I know this. I know that the show is gonna be bad. The way that works is I get 22 minutes to go around the track. I get 10 stops, where I'm allowed to come to a complete stop to look at an animal for 5 seconds. So, at the end of the day, what some of us safari drivers do in order to make it a better show is we put pedal to the metal. Pedal to the metal, which means we can take our big safari driver a maximum of 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour for going downhill through the safari ride. And we rush around until we get to the animal, and we stay there for like 15 seconds. Whatever animals are still out during this time, usually the hippos, the lions, but the elephants and things like that, the giraffes, a lot of them have gone in at this point during the night. And we know this, so we're trying to rush around and give you a good show. Well, this is exactly what I'm doing. I speed around the corners, take like 30 seconds up, and I'm like, look at the hippos. Look at them, look at them. They're not throoping right now, it's a good show. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Look at the mandrills, they're going bananas. So, I come back with a 15.5-minute showtime, which is really, really fast. And still, there are only like 3 animals out there. This is the last ride of the day, and I knew it was gonna be garbage. So I did what I could, but I got back in 15.5 minutes. I drop her off at the loading bay. I go back, start closing down my vehicle. As I'm closing down my vehicle, 2 guys who were on the unloading dock come up to me and are like, hey man, so what happened on that last ride? I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, well, just, you know, some people, they had some issues. Like, were you going really fast? I was like, yeah, I mean, but you know, the animals are all going in. They're all hungry. They want to get their McDonald's and their Krispy Kreme on, man. Like, you know, I'm just trying to show them what's there. And they're like, yeah, no, So, management is coming to talk to you. Management is not necessarily pleased because this lady, she talked to us for like 10 minutes, and then unnamed manager, who I'm not gonna say his name, comes by and she starts telling him, and they have some questions for you. So I'm like, oh crap. I mean, 15.5 minutes is still really, really fast. So I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna get it. So I go and talk to my manager. Everything ends up being fine. And I walk back out kind of relieved, and everyone's surrounding me like, hey, what happened? Is everything okay? Yeah, no, everything's fine. What's up? Oh, well, you remember the lady with the fish hat? So she's sitting here complaining to these 2 guys at the unloading dock saying, I don't know what in the world was happening. He's driving around, he's going around all these buses, he's driving so fast. He's like a Formula 1 driver going around these curves, taking the turns all special so he can go as fast as he can. He's just going, hitting bumps. We're flying past the animals. No one gets to see the animals, and we're just going around. He was driving, it was like he was on crack. It was like he was on crack. He's the crack kid driver, right? The thing that punctuates this entire thing, they're laughing like crazy. The thing that punctuates this entire story is the fish is not stationary. So as she yells, the fish sort of wobbles as she's moving her head. So you've got this wobbly fish just hanging on to her hat while she's talking to these guys. And because of this lady, I could have no other reputation at Disney. I couldn't be the guy who was on his computer all the time in the back room. I couldn't be the guy who made the funny videos online. I couldn't be the guy who taught science. I wasn't the engineer. No, I was forever remembered as the crackhead driver. And I unfortunately do not know this lady's name. Fish Hat Lady, if you're out there, if you're watching, I don't know if you ever returned. I don't know if you ever came on my ride again. I don't know if you ever came back to the ride at all or ever returned to Disney World. But if you do me a favor. Say David sent you, and please, for the love of God, wear the hat.